Welcome to another video from Water and Ice Outdoors. Today, it's going to be a little bit different video. We're not out fishing. It's going to be a DIY type video. I'm going to show you how you can bring your boat electronics out on the ice with you and use them as your ice fishing electronics. And I'm not talking about the settings to use or any of that. I'm going to show you how to mount them, what base to use, how to wire them up, the transducer you're going to need, and the power cord. So stay tuned. If you want to be able to take your Lake Master maps out with you on the ice and not have to be constantly looking at your phone to see what kind of structure you're on or what depth you're in, this is the video you want to watch because you can have that all in one unit on the ice. So stay tuned. Hopefully you learned something and maybe you can use this as well. Alright guys, so the first thing I'm going to do is show you exactly what you need for this. If you already have the Helix unit, a 5 or a 7 is what's recommended. And if you want to switch it to an ice fishing unit, there are two options you can go. One is buying the prefabricated Humminbird ice kit. And that is, I believe, about 250 bucks. And it's a great system. It works great. It's got their custom bag on it. It's got a custom shuttle for it, and it works great. However, that's a lot of money when you've already spent, $300 to $700 on a Helix unit for your boat. And I thought, and there's numerous ways to do this online, but I thought, why not do it yourself? You can save a lot of money with all the stuff here that I purchased for this unit, not including my Humminbird. I spent about $100, $125, so that's a savings of $150, $125, and I think that makes this completely worth it. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you exactly what you need, and then we'll get started. So the first thing that you're going to want to purchase, and I believe you have to pretty much do it online because there aren't many manufacturers or many retail stores that carry these, but you want to get the Transducer from Humminbird, and it costs about 70 to 80 bucks, and that's shipped. And the one that you want is this one right here. It's the XI9 1521, and I will put a link below in the comments section or in the description telling you or linking you to where I bought it because it was a good deal and it shipped really fast. I was really impressed with it. The second thing you need is a power cable for your Humminbird so you can connect it to a 12-volt battery. PC10 is the number that you need for that. I just got the 6-foot. It's plenty of length, and you don't need any more than that. So that's about $70 to $80. This was about $18, I believe. And then the last thing, or the last two things you need, are the Genz Box, and this is just preference for me. I thought it was the easiest way, or it was going to be the easiest way to mount this unit. Other people make their own mounts out of wood. Some people I've seen have used Vexilar bases. So there's multiple different ways you can do this. And then the second thing that you need, or the last thing you need, hopefully you can see this here. Sorry my lighting isn't great, but I've got a 12-volt battery in here, and I've already assembled the Genz Box. It's pretty easy. Basically it's just 4 screws in these holes, and this back plate comes off. Basically you have to connect this back part to the front part, and that's it, and then you're good. So that's really all that you need. Other than that, basically you're going to need a drill set and a screwdriver and a marker, basically to mark stuff, or to mark your drill holes. And then I used my gimbal from my boat. I originally had planned on using a ram mount, so I use a ram ball with a ram mount in my boat. And I originally had planned on buying a ram ball for this and then just mounting the ram ball here But I brought it to the store and it was just way too tall and cumbersome. So basically you'll see how I'm mounting it without the ram ball, just on the gimbal itself. So let's get into it. Alright, so the first thing that we do, like I said, is put this Genz box together. And all you're going to have to do is screw in these 4 screws right here to put the front and the back parts together. Before you do that, you want to put your 12-volt battery in there. You can see it right there inside the inside the box there. There are 2 little, there's an actual battery housing that kind of holds the battery in tight in there so it doesn't jumble around all over the place when you're moving. So it's actually pretty nice. It's actually pretty impressed with these Genz boxes. It's really simple, but it's actually a really nice design. You can drill wherever you want on them, and you can add different stuff to it just by drilling into the housing and screwing it in. So I was actually really impressed with how this worked. So the first thing, once you get it together, that I did is try and figure out where you want to mount your bracket on here. And you have some pre-drilled holes here, and these are customized for Vexilar products, so it's a little different. So I took my gimbal, and originally I wanted to mount this, right where you'd think, so right about here. And what I found out is my screw holes in my gimbal are a little too narrow for this gap right in here. So I tried to figure out a way that I was going to be able to make it work. I just couldn't. I know some people, I don't know if it's Lowrance guys or different Humminbird different size Humminbird units fit better here on the bottom, but I actually ended up deciding to put it up here, and I wasn't exactly sure how the balance was going to be on there, but I actually got it on there, and with the battery in the back of this box, it balances it out perfectly, so I was really happy with that. So what you want to do is basically you're going to drill 4 holes here. You can see them that I've drilled here, and all I did was take a marker and I made sure that it was level and where I centered and where I wanted it, and then I just marked those 4 holes, and then I just took a drill. I took my drill and drilled right where I marked, basically. Super easy. Low margin for error. That's something I need because I'm not a handy person. So that was super easy. Then you just take your screws that actually come with your gimbal. So let's do that. And I used a bit that was smaller than these screws so that I could screw it in and it would actually grab to that plastic a little bit. And even if your nuts came loose, I've got lock nuts on there, so they shouldn't, but if they do, your screws are still in there nice and tight, so they won't slip if you lose a washer, or a nut. So let's get these in here. So we're just going to hand screw these in first so we get it started. Alright, so we got our screws just hand screwed in. So we've got the gimbal in place, and now we're going to use the drill to screw them in. You don't want to go too fast because you don't want to crack your gimbal or crack the Genz box. So just go in nice and easy and tighten them up equally. And you want to make sure it's nice and tight in there because you don't want any wobble or any gaps in there. Because you don't want that thing moving around, and you don't want the chance of it coming off and damaging your unit. So we've got our screws in there, and next we want to put those lock nuts on there. And this is the fun part because it's tight quarters. So I am going to hand start them. And we're going to tighten. All right, and that's that. We've got our lock nuts and our bolts all settled in, and our Humminbird gimbal is nice and sturdy on there. Next thing we're gonna do is run the power wire through. So as you can see, I've already put some clips on here. Basically, these don't come with the Humminbird power cord. Basically, it's just everything you see but here. So I stripped the housing down a little farther so I could separate these a little more, and then I added the clips. And I actually, these Genz boxes have this big gap in here. So I just shoved my power cord, my extra power cord in there, and then I ran this up through the back. And I know you can't see right now, but I'll show you it in a second here. We'll get you there. So as you can see, I've run it through the back here of this. Let me see here. There, you can see it a little better. I've run it through the back there, in between this part of the Genz box and the battery. There's plenty of room. You should be able to do it, no problem. And we're gonna hook it up. The only negative thing with these Genz boxes that I've noticed is, excuse me, that your battery cannot come out of it unless you unscrew this back plate. Is it a pain? Yeah, but you really don't. I mean, as long as you have like a gator clip, typical gator clip charger, you'll be able to access these positive negative prongs, no problem, even with it in here. So unless you're planning on changing out batteries or using this battery for something else during ice fishing season, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. So, all right, so we've got our positive and negative hooked up, so the battery's ready to go. Next thing we're gonna do is hook our transducer up to our unit, because you want to plug everything in before you put it on your mount here, just because it's easier. So we're going to plug that in, then we're going to plug our power in, and again with this one, same thing. I'm gonna put it right in that first gap there, and then we're gonna mount our unit here. And all the screws and lock nuts that I used here for the gimbal were actually the same ones that I use for this on my boat. So I didn't have to go out and buy any extra ones. I just used the ones that I already had with my Humminbird. So get these screwed in here. Make that a little higher. And the nice thing about these gimbals, just like on your boat, you can set it to any angle that you want. All right, so that's that. We got it all set up. If you don't have one of these covers for your unit, I highly recommend it if you're going to be using it for an ice fishing unit, because obviously things can get banged around. You could drop it. Something could hit it. You don't want to crack your screen or scratch your screen for that matter. So make sure you invest in one of these if you don't already have one. They're going to really protect your screen and save your unit. All right, so we're all wired up. Let's turn her on. And there you go, guys. That's how simple it is. I mean, literally, probably took me 20 minutes to do that. And I know I pre-drilled some holes here and I put the Genz box together, but that's another 5 minutes. It's super easy. It's an excellent unit. It's really balanced. You can see that's how it's a little front heavy, but that's it. I mean, the battery sits here, the unit sits in the front, and the balance is really nice. This eye bolt comes in, comes with the Genz box, and you can set your transducer in there, so it's not so it's supporting, so it's not pulling on your unit. And this is just an excellent setup. I was really happy with it. I wasn't exactly sure how it was going to work, but it turned out way better than I thought. So, and to have this powerful of a unit on the ice with your Lake Master chip in it, with, you can even in the fall you can go out and auto chart live your fishing spots, so you have like literally up to the minute or up to the week, month, you know, date maps, so you can have the most current maps out there because you just charted them in the fall, and now you're bringing that out with you ice fishing. It's phenomenal. You can do the traditional dial graph on here, and then you can also do the 2D chirp linear graph, and you can run them at the same time with a split screen. So I highly recommend this, especially if you already have a Helix unit or a Lowrance unit. I know Lowrance makes an ice conversion kit as well, and you can do the same type thing. You just have to get the Lowrance model transducer. So there are a lot of other ways to do this, as I've said, but this I thought was very cheap and extremely easy, as you saw. If I can do it, you guys can do it. So I hope this helps. I hope it gives you an idea, and if you are a boater that has a Helix or Lowrance unit, definitely think about using it on the ice, because it's these units are so powerful. It's going to be awesome to have on the ice this year. Thanks for watching Water and Ice Outdoors, guys. I appreciate all the love you guys give me. Make sure you click that subscribe button and the thumbs up if you haven't already. We'll see you next time on the water or on the ice.